If you've clicked on this video, you probably know that you want to go solar, and hopefully you've justified spending money on a solar setup. When you get into the $3,000 range, you're actually dealing with some pretty usable power. You'll be able to get a good battery, a good inverter, and a whole bunch of solar panels. This setup can easily power your essentials in case of an emergency, but most people's problem is, where do I begin and what brand should I trust? Welcome back to the lab where our opinions cannot be bought. Most people spend tens of thousands of dollars on solar, but you don't need to. Depending on your use cases, you could easily get away with only spending $3,000. But if you're anything like me a couple of years ago, you probably have no idea where to begin or what brands are trustworthy. So here at the lab, we decided to build our recommended $3,000 solar setup with products we've tested, that we trust, and that we actually recommend. And I know the title of this video is $3,000, but we made this kit for $2,970, saving you 30 bucks, so go buy a lunch. Also, links to the products we recommend in this video will be down in the description below, as well as any discount codes we have to save you guys some money. So when it came to making the $3,000 solar kit, I wanted to make it very simple and very easy to install, and that's why we chose the EG4 3000 watt inverter. This inverter is great because it has 5,000 watts of solar input, has 3,000 watts of output, and it's 120 volts. Another great thing is that it's super small and you can put it really anywhere if you don't have a lot of space, say in your cabin or in your garage. It's really small and very easy to install by yourself. Another great thing about this inverter is that it has built-in solar charging, or MPPT. Basically, you have your charge controller built in and you don't have to go buy another one and spend a lot of money because this one is already built into the inverter, so that's pretty sweet. Also, if you want to ever upgrade your system to a 240 volt system, you can parallel this inverter with another 3000 and you're able to get split phase 240 volt. So that is pretty sweet. And this inverter is only $497. We got this one refurbished. So the options are out there. So another cool thing about this inverter that I actually forgot to mention is that it can be grid or generator input. So let's say you don't have any solar, you're still able to charge your batteries, which is pretty sweet on this little baby unit. So moving on to these WattCycle batteries, I chose these ones specifically because I think this kit is going to be used off grid. So I chose a battery with screens on them. So let's say you don't have any access to Wi-Fi or any access to cellular data, you're still able to monitor and see what's going on with your batteries at a quick glance instead of just checking your phone. Another thing about these batteries is they are relatively cheap because they are not UL listed, but it doesn't really matter in our off-grid scenario. And number two, they just performed pretty well in our testing, so we feel comfortable recommending them. These batteries are also very scalable, so you're able to run them basically infinitely, and you can stack up a bunch if you are going to run them off voltages. Which basically means if you're ever going to upgrade your inverter to a much bigger inverter, you can still keep your batteries because they're just a simple 48 volt battery that's going to be able to work with pretty much everything. And as for these solar panels, they have a max output of 3,850 watts, which is well within this inverter's solar input of 5,000 watts. So let's go over our install on this kit and see how easy it is to install and what you should expect from this $3,000 solar kit. So here we have the EG4 inverter. Basically, we just kind of went over it before, but it's super light if you're wondering. Like, you can probably just mount this thing by yourself. But before we put it on the wall, what we want to do is we want to take off this gray cover here because that's how we're going to connect the battery. So we'll take off the cover, and they're just Phillips screws. They're really small, so make sure you don't lose them. You'll see we have our AC in, our AC out, and our PV in. So that means here's our solar. Here is how we're going to get the power out of the inverter. And here's how we're going to put the power into the inverter.
I would put a screw in the wall at least first.
Where is the screw cell? Thank you. Thank you, Dylan.
You got it.
All right. I'd say that's level. What do you think?
Looks good enough.
Bob's your uncle. Okay, so this looks like a mess right now, but trust me, it will make sense and will all look clean after this. The first thing we're gonna do is we're going to connect our batteries together and then to the inverter, and then we're gonna connect the AC out and then the AC in, and then we'll connect our PV. One thing to know about the solar input is you have to switch off the inverter before you connect the solar panels, otherwise it will damage the inverter. EG4, they put it right on there, so you cannot mess it up once you go to put it in. First thing we're gonna do is connect these batteries together. So we're going from the bottom of the master battery to the top of the other auxiliary batteries. If you wanted to do this for like 14 batteries, you would just go top, bottom, and then this one on the very top goes to your inverter. Okay, now we're gonna do the same thing for the negative. Okay. So this is a single phase inverter. That means it only has 120 volts. That's why we're able to use a kind of end of an extension cord, and you can kind of plug it into your grid power, into your plug, or plug it into a generator to charge your batteries. Now, again, this is an off-grid inverter. It's meant for off-grid, just using solar and batteries. But if you do have access to the grid, you can do it this way. So we're gonna wire it up real quickly. And basically it's the same how you'd wire up anything, just hot to hot, neutral to neutral, and then ground to ground. Okay, now that this is all good, it's all up in there, we'd be able to use this just in a normal house plug. Okay, right now we're going to put in the solar input into the PV. Now remember, you need to have your inverter turned off. They strictly tell us to not have your inverter on so you don't blow anything up. Also, make sure to have your PV isolator turned off as well to make sure that your wires aren't live when you're connecting them. So now our solar's in, we have our batteries in, we have our AC in and our AC out. So I kind of want to get you guys a sense of what your setup will look like. So I'm going to put on the cover and kind of show you how I have it run and set up. So I have a light connected into the plug that is going to have the power. So you can see automatically right when it turns on how it's gonna work. So what we're gonna do right now is we're gonna turn on the batteries. And you may need to commission them to make them work properly with your inverter and make them work properly together. We're gonna run them off voltage. Now you can run them off of your communication wire. You can run it off the state of charge of the battery through the very intelligent BMS. So now the switch for the inverter is right under here. We'll turn it on. As you can see, the screen comes on. Boom, there we go. So as I said before, you can run this and charge it off of your house, the 120 volt plug. So you can do it off your house or in a generator or something like that. There we go. So now we're charging the battery here. Now we're gonna go over to our PV isolator and turn it on. This goes out to those panels that we have in the backyard. You can switch it on like that. Boom. And now we have solar. So for you guys, we spec'd out 10 385 watt solar panels. We have around 4,050 right now. We have our own solar setup back there. We didn't end up buying those panels, but those are the ones that we would recommend. And it can easily and reliably take that, no problem. So just to show you guys that it does consistently run the proper wattages and actually a little bit under the watts. These heat guns run at full force at 1,500 watts, okay? And I have two of them here. And the way we'll do this test is when it shows the load on here on the screen, I'll try to show you here. So it shows the load. Right now we're running 0, so we're running literally at 0%. And now I'm going to put it one on. Okay, boom. So here's the load in wattages. So right now we're running 711 watts, 721, kind of in that range. Now I'm going to put it on the full force. Now we're running, 1,400 watts. Now, I'm going to switch it up to 2.5 watts. So, or 2.5 kilowatts, so 2,140. Now I'm going to put it both on full force. And it's running at 2,776. So still not hitting that full 3,000. Now what I can do is I can try to put another heat gun on and I can see what it surges at. Because it should surge at a little bit higher than 3,000. I think it's a 6,000 watt surge, so we'll see if it works. Okay, so it's plugged in. I got the gun here, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna put it on to 750. So the gun's on at 750, it's running, you hear it, and we have an error code. It says fault. There's a fault right there. And now we're gonna, okay. So it just turned off on me. So I was at 2,700 watts. I surged it for 750 for around 4 or 5 seconds, and it just turned off. And now it reset itself, and I think I should be able to turn it back on. Oh, there we go, it's back on. So it didn't surge very well. Let's try it again. Let's try it again. So, because right now we should be at 3,000. This should, like, in our testing, these are both 1,500, but it's running at 2,700, which is weird. So I'm gonna try and surge it again at 750. Okay, and automatically it puts it at a fault. And 4 seconds, 5 seconds, 6 seconds. So my counting, well, I don't think my counting was that right. 5 seconds basically, and it turned off again. It runs perfectly at the 3,000 watts advertised, but the surge rating is not that good. That's one thing to know, because you know, if you do want to run an extra heater or something like that, if you do go over for more than 5 seconds, it will shut everything off. One thing to know. So the pros and cons about this setup is, well, number one, it is really easy to set up. As you can see, it didn't really take us that long. It's super simple, and your monitoring is right on the inverter. There's no like Wi-Fi needed. You can do this off grid, no problem. One thing to mention is it, again, is not split phase 240. But if you wanted to do that, you can go run another inverter in parallel with this one, and you can get that 240 split phase. We ran the outlets directly right here, but you can run it to a panel if you wanted to do that. Like, there's a whole bunch of options, and this setup is really robust. One con about this inverter is it only is IP21 rated. Most inverters now are IP65. So basically what that means is this one is only used for indoors, can't really get wet, whereas ones that are coming out now are able to be used outside if you wanted to go that route. Another thing that we as solar people look for in inverters is for them to have multiple strings of MPPT. Basically what meaning is so we can get more solar into this thing. But that being said, for an inverter for $699, or we got one refurbished for $497, like, you can't really ask way too much. A 3,000 watt inverter with, I mean, a 5,000 watt solar input is pretty good. The great thing about this inverter is that it's kind of an all-in-one unit. Instead of having to go buy a bunch of different things, you're just buying the inverter and you're getting an inverter, a solar charge controller, and an AC, like, battery charger, which is really great if you're tight on space. You can literally just put this on your wall and it's just up and out of the way instead of having a bunch of different things where it kind of becomes a mess. Another thing we like about this inverter is that it's capable of running an auto start stop generator, basically meaning is when the sun is not out, the generator will kick on and will still charge your batteries. So when you're thinking of bang for your buck, we made this whole kit for $3,000, right? And when you compare it to a Powerstation of the same size, the differences are really noticeable. I can set it up easily by myself. I mean, you watched me set it up. It was super easy. I put the inverter on by myself, the batteries by myself. It is better if you're moving the batteries with another person just because they are heavy. But the great thing about this inverter is you can still run plugs like you could with a Powerstation. You can run it off the 120 volts, and it doesn't take up as much space as a Powerstation would, because it's modular. So you can put this up on the wall, have it out of the way, whereas if you compare to something like the DPU X or the DPU, it's not that bad. This is $3,000. The DPU is, I think, 4,000 and something. The DPUX is like 7,000, and you get almost the same. Now, you don't get the same inverter. Like the DPUX is a 12,000 watt inverter, where this one is only 3,000. But if you wanted to run this in a split phase, so you'd have 240 and you'd have double the inverter, you'd have 6,000. That's not that bad. You can run a lot of stuff in your house. You can run your sump pump, your fridge, your kettles, your toaster, your AC if you wanted to. And because you can put so many batteries all together for really cheap, like if you're going with these WattCycle batteries, you're going to get a great bang for your buck. So that's why I like the WattCycle batteries, because you can parallel as many as you want to together, and it's going to work perfectly with your inverters. Now, if you have it set up just like we do, you can run basically all your appliances up to that 3,000 watts. This is overall a really good setup for under $3,000. In my opinion, this setup is pretty good for just under $3,000. The two 48-volt WattCycle batteries offer 10,240 watt-hours of battery, which is pretty good. The downside to this, though, is the inverter is a single phase. That means you only get 120 volts out of it. Now, I did mention that you can get another inverter, run it in parallel. You'll get a split phase, and you can run 6,000 watts out of it. But just right now, for our 3,000 kit, you only get 120 volts single phase. We accounted for 2 batteries and 3,850 watts of solar. So if you want to expand or go closer to the max input of the inverter, which I think is 5,000, you will need a bus bar to connect your batteries and a solar isolator. The bus bar and the solar isolator will have to be purchased additionally. Other than those minor things, I really don't see a big downfall to this system. If you want to see a video on this WattCycle battery or this inverter, you can click right here, and you can go watch those dedicated videos. Thank you so much for watching this video. Peace out and stay charged.